Now, you probably know Chechnya as the tiny breakaway republic that whopped Boris Yeltsin's Russia, big dicked their way into Dagestan, and then got whopped by Vladimir Putin. Dagestan being bigger and more populated and still part of Russia. Obviously, there's a little more to it, and I'll speed through some of it because it's very interesting. The Chechens are a very ancient Caucasian people, meaning of the Caucasus, not white per se, although they kind of are, with archaeological evidence of habitation going back thousands, if not tens of thousands of years. Thousands of years pass, woo out the bam bam. They ended up in Persia's sphere of influence in the 15th century, and most of them began to practice Islam. Peter I, Tsar of Russia, decided he wanted to conquer the Caucasus and the Caspian Sea in the early 18th century, and so the First Russo-Persian War took place between 1722 and 1723, with Russia winning. They gave it back to Iran 10 years later, fought a tug-of-war over the area for the next 150 years until Russia won, deported as much as 80% of the population, and crushed the remaining resistance. The Russian insistence on Christianity helped cement Islam as the dominant religion. In 1917, Russia fell apart and Chechnya clicked up with Ingushetia and Dagestan to secede and form the mountainous republic of the Northern Caucasus until 1921, when the nation was attacked and reabsorbed into the new Soviet Union. The Soviets renamed and redivided it all up. Chechnya ended up with the Checheno-Ingush Autonomous Soviet Socialist Republic. Yeah. Then the Soviets spent the rest of their existence trying to stamp out their culture, until 1990, when they declared independence. Actually sort of achieved it in 1991, only for the new Russian Federation to say, nah. And thus, they subsequently whopped Boris Yeltsin's Russia, big-dicked their way into Dagestan, and then got whopped by Vladimir Putin, resulting in the unhappy little constituent republic we know today. What you may not know today is that there are Jews there. There are many Jews in the Caucasus that have been there for thousands of years, and I came across this group while researching the other mountain Jews, who are found primarily in Azerbaijan. Let's talk about it. Chechen society was historically divided into types, clans. There are many of these, and they've been there for thousands of years, and one of them, the Zukti, are Jewish. 3 others are said to have Jewish relations, whatever that means. Anyway, the Russians and the Soviets did not necessarily create a good area to be Jewish. See Mountain Jews video. And there's not a big population. In the 1989 census, there were 2,600 Jews in the Chechen Ingushetia ASSR, and far, far less after the Chechen Wars. But in 1991, when the Chechens took back control of Chechnya, things were actually great for the Jews. Quoting from Peoples of the Caucasus, The Chechens, a handbook, by author Amjad Jaimoka, who themselves is quoting from K. Denyev, Religion, Sick Freedom in Chechnya report presented at International Human Rights Conference, Budapest, March 1997. Quote, the year 1991 saw the establishment of the first Islamic Institute in Chechnya and the publication of the first religious magazine. An edict was passed restoring confiscated religious properties, including those of Christians and Jews. By 1994, there were about 400 mosques, more than 10 churches, and 1 synagogue serving the Jewish community, which made up almost 2% of the population of the republic. However, after the Russian invasion of 1994, most of the Jews emigrated to Israel and the USA. That synagogue was destroyed in the war. Also, the discrepancy between the 2,600 figure and the 2% figure can probably be explained by the fact that under the Soviets, people tended to hide their religion if they had any religion at all. And probably in a resurgent Chechnya, people felt more comfortable identifying as Jewish. Nobody was comfortable during the Chechen Wars, and there may or may not have been an Ethiopia-style airlift to get Jews out of Chechnya. Links below. Decide for yourself. Arm yourselves with knowledge. Anyway, power up. Is it foo? No, they're mountain Jews with established historicity. What's good with them today? It's funny, actually. While Russia seems to not want to get into the whole Israel situation, it seems like Chechen Jews do. Here's a Times of Israel article about Chechen Jewish group called The Council of Elders of the Jewish People, condemning Israeli actions at the Temple Mount. According to the article, this group doesn't exist. But here's this guy, Yuniev, carrying the torch. Chechnya today is controlled by Russia via strongman Ramzan Kadyrov. In 2013, Kadyrov's office opened a synagogue, the same destroyed one from before, in Grozny, to which Russian politician and journalist Vadim Beriashvili said the Chechen authorities managed to find 2 Jews for the opening of the synagogue, but both of them refused to participate. The reasons for refusal can only be guessed. While that is funny, according to other sources, there are, quote, a few dozen left. Though he agreed to build the synagogue and talked about his friends in Israel in the past, Kadyrov has also made wild anti-Semitic comments in the past. In 2019, he apparently said, Muhammad killed the Jews most of all, and called Jews the main enemies of Islam. Oof. But according to pro-independence Chechen blogger in exile, Tusmo Abdurakhmanov, he's only doing it for clout, so that he can pretend to be pro-Islam to get away with being pro-Russia. Yeah. Anyway, Chechen Jews. Dope. Dope.